Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. So this is not going to be a long one. It's going to be kind of a rant, sort of kind of a rant about Miss Candace McDuffie. That's the young lady that was on CNN, pretty much justifying the slap. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. So we're gonna go into it. All right. Um, and like I said, this is not gonna be too long. All right. So this is a senior writer at the Root Art, right? So now y'all have an idea of why the Root has all of these anti-black misandrist articles coming out every other day, because these are their writers. Yeah, women like this. Number one. Number two, you know you messed up when Kyle Kalinske, a progressive, is saying, "Yeah, y'all might be going too far with this." So let's be very clear. Miss Candace McDuffie justifies the slap, right? So she's doing the whole black women are so victimized and they're so put upon, right? I would like to also, and I should have linked this also, the two brothers, the channel Playback, right? I've checked out some of their content before. They also covered this. So this is Mr. Z saying, and I know a lot of brothers are like, Mr. Z, you be putting black women on too much game, they're gonna eventually switch up. No, they're not. Their anger and their resentment at you is so great that you could tell them exactly how it's gonna go, and they will still walk into the oven. So, um, you're burning your bridges on the left, black women. I don't know if y'all realize that. If Kyle Kalinske is covering it, the brothers, their channel called The Playback, has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Um, they have a large white following also. If they're covering this, right, and if Kyle Kalinske is covering this, you know you messing up. You're messing up. As Kyle said, Chris Rock is going after everybody. So for black women to act like some super victims, oh my God, we're so put upon it. He's made so many jokes about us. Oh my God, and justifying Will slapping Chris Rock and how it's okay. Once again, right? And then the brothers on the Playback playing a clip of a young black woman, once again justifying it. Black men love making fun of black women, especially in front of white people, yada yada yada. Y'all being really reckless. Y'all are snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. You won the culture war against black men over the past 50 years, black women. And you yourself are dismantling your own victory because you're going too far, number one. Number two, you actually think other people buy into it. Number three, you're trying way too hard to play white woman damsel in distress in front of white folks. And they're not going to give you that position. They're not going to let you share that position with white women. They're just not. Right? So I got a couple of links in the description box if y'all want to check them out. I got to put the other one from the brothers from the Playback channel. But yeah, as I've said before, I've said this multiple times. Y'all are being too loud. You're buying too much into your own hype. You're smelling your own fart too much. You're snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory in front of everyone, including black men. And of course, you know, black men are like, well, we tried to tell you, right? So Don Lemon has Miss Candace McDuffie on, and she proceeds to essentially say, yeah, what Will Smith did was kind of just desserts for Chris Rock, right? And he needs to heal, and you know, he looked at all this rage and he needs to heal. Right? You're not being smart. This is really dumb. Now y'all understand. Now you understand when we were mocking you with the Roots articles. Right? Comet hits the Earth. It's black men's fault. Solar flare knocks out some satellites. It's black men's fault. Right? Superwave comes out and knock out half of India. It's black men's fault. Right? Nuclear plant explodes and destroys a certain percentage of Japan. It's black men's fault. That's why we were mocking y'all with that. Now y'all know why the Roots be putting out the articles it does. Because these are its senior writers. Women like this got the unmitigated gall to talk about black men not healing or Chris Rock not healing. Are you still mad that you not seen attractive by them high school boys and now you 37 and 47 years old? You still got a problem with it? Ooh, yikes. Right? See, black female intelligentsia is going to single-handedly destroy the podium that white people gave them. I said it the way I meant it. It's not going to be black men. It might not even be white folks. You yourself are going to sully your position with white folks. By the way, they don't really believe in all of that. They just been pretending like they believe all the crap you've been saying about black men. But even you're getting in your own way, and you're getting in their way. You're destroying your own podium because you just keep going on about how horrible black men are. And quite frankly, white people ain't trying to hear it unless they're trying to use you against black men in the moment. When they're not trying to use you against black men in the moment, they really don't care what you have to say. You got the white lefties. Kyle Kalinske is even like, yeah, y'all might be taking this too far. The progressives, y'all got the progressives saying y'all might be taking this too far. Snatching victory out of the jaws of defeat. Because all you want to talk about is how horrible black men are. And so black intelligentsia, black female intelligentsia think the rest of the world rides with them on this BS about how horrible black men are. And like I said, occasionally they'll let you say it because they want to use it against black people in general. That includes you in the long run. But outside of that, they ain't trying to hear that. And even wait a minute. Y'all got Ben Shapiro and Kyle Kalinske kind of loosely agreeing that y'all going too far with the BS. Y'all got Kyle Kalinske and Ben Shapiro agreeing. What, black women, y'all don't know what y'all doing, huh? Y'all really don't know what y'all doing, huh? This is a senior writer at the Roots thinking she's garnering white sympathy and white tears and white affection by doing the whole Chris Rock's a black man. Black men do this to black women all the time. Black men look like denigrating black women in front of white folks. And thinking white men trying to hear that. They're not trying to. You forgot. You know what the issue is? These people are so hopped up on their own BS and they're so stuck in their echo chambers. They really don't realize what's going on outside. Because white men are feeling it from white women right now, you can't pull the same type of tricks that you've been pulling over the past 50, 60 years, ladies. Black women, you can't keep on claiming that you're the victim of black men. White men ain't even trying to hear it from white women. You haven't put your finger to the wind and see where it's blowing. So y'all are hearing these white guys go off on white women, on Western women, and now y'all playing victim about a joke, about a comedy skit, about a comedian. The world just witnessed Chris Rock get slapped by Will Smith because his wife was angered about a joke, and then y'all come back and double down on it. Y'all come back and double down on it. Y'all are really who 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 in the black female delegation, who part of the sisterhood, who's orchestrating, who's greenlighting this? So y'all double down on Michael B. Jordan being corny because he dates white women, and y'all tried to justify that. Y'all tried to justify calling this man corny all when he was a child by saying he dates white women, so that makes him corny. In front of the world, y'all try to do that. Now y'all trying to justify a Will Smith slap a year or so later. See, Y'all thought it was just Stefco that thought it was cool. Y'all thought it was just Kim Foster and them that thought it was cool, right? Y'all thought it was just them. Now y'all got one of the senior writers at the root saying, yeah, we agree, right? Oh, we gotta cover Meghan Markle. I might do a part 2 to this either later on tonight or tomorrow morning. Oh yeah, we covering Meghan Markle. And shout out to Victor Creed. What's going on, bro? And Victor Creed said Jada and Meghan are all black women. I should tell my mom, right? We covering Meghan Markle, and we covering and shout out to the brother Ed and Obsidian. Yeah, we covering Crystalline Kerazin when she spoke to Obsidian also. Oh yeah, we covering all of that, right? Crystalline Kerazin, and actually let's do a little bit of that conversation commentary right now. Crystalline Kerazin speaking about mistakes. Miss Kerazin, and this would be my question to her. What do we do with the black women that didn't make a mistake? They miscalculated. They made a cold calculated decision and they turned out to be wrong. What does Mr. Z mean? You made a cold calculated decision that you knew this man didn't want to have this child, or you knew he wasn't mature enough, or you knew you weren't ready, or you knew you weren't mature enough, but you had the baby anyway. And when the things didn't turn out the way you calculated, now you want to play victim. Now you want to, I made a mistake, but I deserve grace. I deserve grace. I made a mistake. Did you make a mistake or did you calculate wrong? Women like Crystalline Kerazin, these elitist a-holes whose goal in life is to be treated and be an upper middle class white woman. You could tell Crystalline Kerazin want that treatment so bad. Oh, she want to be an upper middle class white woman so bad. And so they try to play damsel in distress like the white girls. I made a mistake. Should I be punished forever? I made a mistake. No, you miscalculated. You thought this was going to work, and because it didn't work between you and your black baby daddy, you waged a war, a jihad on black men for the past 20 years. You've been waging a jihad against black men because it didn't work between you and your black baby daddy. And you want to claim mistake. No, you miscalculated, and it didn't work. And then you married the white dude, and it didn't work again. It worked for what, almost 20 years, give or take? Right? Y'all are the worst with this. Y'all keep on snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory and then claiming mistake. It's not a mistake. You made a calculated choice. It didn't work in your favor, and now you want to play damsel in distress. Let me be very clear. Damsel in distress don't even work for all white women. Yikes. You have to have a certain look. You usually have to be a certain age. They don't even get to play damsel in distress like that. Not against white men, at least. Maybe against black men. And so for Crystalline Kerazin to try to pull that stunt and then try to play victim on the city, I tried. I begged you. I begged you. She find Obsidian disgusting. Let me talk to look. Women, this is not a black woman thing. This is a woman thing. Women, y'all know y'all raise us, right? You know we live on the same planet, right? We live on the same planet. Dear women, this is a man talking. You know we live on the same planet, right? You know you are our mothers and our grandmothers and our aunts and our sisters and our nieces and our girlfriends and our wives. Could you stop sneak dissing? And then when a man responds full throatedly, now you want to play like you don't know what he's talking about? Crystalline Kerazin and other black women think they could sneak, and women in general think they could sneak diss men. And then when men respond, it's, oh my God, why are you speaking to me like that? Y'all sneak diss each other and get into arguments and sometimes come to fisticuffs about it. You just because men don't often respond doesn't mean we don't hear what you're saying and we don't know it's directed towards us. Crystalline Kerazin thinks she could insult black men by omission, like what she was doing with Themis on that video, right? Sneak dissing left and right, doing the whole Nixon benign neglect thing. And then when men like Obsidian and like Mr. Z and like BGS and like others respond, that's, oh my God, why are you talking to me like that? You see? We're not. I know you're so convinced, Crystal and Kerazin, that black men are dumb, big dumb apes. I know. I know. I get it. Yes, I get it. I get it. But you have to know, Miss Kerazin, we hear you. We're paying attention, Miss Kerazin. All that sneak dissing, implying, suggesting things about black men, but never saying black men. By the way, you used to. You got a whole lot better about not saying black men, but everybody knows who you're talking about. These people really think they could continue to sneak diss black men and that we're never going to respond. Miss Kerazin, you've been waging a jihad against black men for decades because it didn't work with you and your black baby daddy. And now it didn't work between you and your white husband. When does it become you, Miss Kerazin? It's Holly Berry all over again. These black men this, these black men that. 2 white men later. Now everybody's like, well, maybe it's Holly. My question to everyone, regardless of race, is when do we ever critique the women in their pathology? When? My question to the black community is when do we critique black women in their pathology? Or are we saying to black men, well, maybe if you become perfect and you become the richest, wealthiest group of people on the planet and you build Wakanda, then we can critique why black women do and say the messed up things they do and say. But anything short of all black men becoming uber wealthy, building Wakanda, anything short of that, yeah, it's always black men's fault. Anything negative black women do, it's always black men's fault. Black men all could be on a different planet. If a black woman does something wrong on Earth, it's black men's fault. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And like a comment said, she literally said, we don't pour into black women. Crystalline Kerazin said, excuse me, she said, we don't pour into black little girls. And then when somebody in the background was like, wait, is she married? Wasn't she married to a white man? Well, it's not about race. I didn't bring race into it. You just said we don't pour into black girls. You just said that. Insinuating. And this is what I say. This is what I mean by sneak this in black men, right? And black boys. So we don't pour into black girls, but we pour into black boys. Is that why our boys can't read on reading level? Because we pour into them, right? Is that why our boys are the face of prison in America? Because we don't pour into them, right? Huh. Is that why our boys aren't attending college and university? Because we pour into them, right? We pour into them. In other words, we pour into black boys and men, but they're so deficient and defective that on the other end, it still doesn't work. We need to pour into the girls. Translation, we need to blow smoke up the girls' rear end. Our boys can't read on reading level. They're dropping out of the workforce. That's for the ones that were in the workforce, right? They're staying at home with their parents into their however long. And yet we're not pouring into the girls. Translation, we ain't turning the black girls into upper middle class and rich white girls. We're not telling them enough how much they ish don't stink. We're not trying to further their delusion. Black women like Crystalline Kerazin, even older than her, but Crystalline Kerazin, They've been trying their hardest to separate from black men and think of themselves and be treated like a separate entity for decades, and it's only brought them right back to Thanos. It's only brought them right back here. You cannot. The society won't let you. It's not about black men. Y'all have tried to benign neglect black men with this intersectionality talk. You've tried to destroy black men's image with this talk about black men in DV, black men and white women, black men in LGBTQ DL activity, down low activity, right? You've been trying for decades, Crystalline. It's you and your ideological elders been trying for decades, and it always bring you right back to us, Thanos. There is no elevation of black girls and women without black men. If the white boys were checking, yes, absolute. Listen, Crystalline, you would be if we didn't live in a racist anti-black society. You and Chrissy and Yanni and Paris, y'all would be absolutely correct. If we didn't live in an anti-black society, all of your efforts would work. Oh, it would be perfect. But unfortunately for you, Miss Kerazin, and all the rest of y'all, we do. So there will be no separating from black men. There will be no elevation of black women in a vacuum. So let me say this again. I said it before, and it's not me begging, it's me telling. Either y'all work on black men, work for black men, work with black men, or you will continue to have all those degrees. You will continue to have all those baby Benzes and Beamers. You will continue to try to pay off that mortgage by yourself. Take them girls' trips to get piped down by whatever Caribbean dude or even now European dude. And it will still bring you back to Thanos. There is no elevating black women without black men. It's failed. Your project has failed. It's failed, and it will continue to fail. You can try to gaslight black men with all these supposedly omnipotent, omniscient non-black men. Everybody's watching white men fall on their face right now. So clearly, see, the internet has exposed how much white people have been trying to save face, but the white young kids are telling. The white young women are telling. So all that omnipotent white man stuff, yeah. Crystalline, your divorce from your husband is example that what you saying don't work. Yikes. It's failed, Chrissy. It's failed, Yanni. It's failed, Paris. It's failed, Crystalline Kerazin. Your project has failed. And like I keep on saying, when you come back over here, you better come back with a smile. And that's for the brothers that will have you. When you come back over here, you better come back with a smile. Your project has failed. That insider article was an admission that it's failed. Now, that individual black girl might end up with a white guy. Maybe she ends up with a white guy. Maybe she gets married to a white guy. But that insider article is admission. That young lady went to a PWI. And those young women are going to PWIs. That's predominantly white institutions. That's colleges, mainly white folks. And then white guys are telling you, yeah, but be my bust down, but that whole serious relationship thing, yeah, no. Not with a black girl, sorry. So selling out the civil rights movement to white women so they could take the majority of all the profits from the civil rights movement. Black women get the crumbs, black men get nothing. That failed. All the talk shows through the 80s and 90s defecating on black men, that failed. The swirler and divestment movement online, failing. Going after rap and hip hop because these men are misogynist and sexist and patriarchal failed. Hip hop is the most revolutionary music of the past 40, 50 years. There is not a corner of this planet it hasn't touched. Your efforts have failed. All of your efforts have failed. You had a 50-year head start with denigrating black men. And it took black men, give or take, a decade with the black manosphere and the like to catch up rhetorically. Now we're working on the resources. And you don't know what to do with yourself. The young lady from she's a senior writer from the Roots article. From the Roots, excuse me. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Candace McDuffie, right? Something like that. Something. Already forgot her last name. But Miss Candace, we'll just say Miss Candace. Now y'all know why the Roots have such misandrous, anti-black male articles. Now you know why. This lady thought she went on CNN with all the gusto and bravado in the world, attempting to justify Will Smith slapping Chris Rock on that stage. I told y'all, they have bought into their hype so much. They're on Twitter celebrating Kobe Bryant's death because he didn't marry a black woman. And so it's okay that his helicopter fell out the sky and everyone on the helicopter died, including white folks, including his daughter, including Kobe Bryant's daughter. Then you got the intellectuals saying it's perfectly okay that Will Smith slaps Chris Rock because black women's hair. And black women are so insecure and they're so put upon, especially by black men. So it's okay that Will Smith slaps Chris Rock in front of the world. Because it should show black men you can't make fun of our hair and you can't make fun of us, especially in front of white folks. Meanwhile, white folks are like, yeah, y'all might be going too far with this. You got Ostefco saying she smiled when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock for the same reasons that Miss Candace is saying it. She said she smiled. Y'all remember correctly. This was a teacher. Y'all remember. She was a teacher. This is your intelligentsia. This is your intellectual class. This is your educated class of adult black women trying to justify why Will Smith should have slapped Chris Rock. So you have a senior writer from the Roots. You have a teacher in Ostefco. You have a social commentator. You have all these colorist queens. You have black women that claim to talk up for other black women. All of them thinking it was okay. As a matter of fact, it was justified. It was better than okay. Right? And y'all got Kyle Kalinske, a well-known progressive. How many subscribers Kyle Kalinske got on his channel? 800 and something thousand something. Right? 900 something thousand. Huge channel on YouTube. One of the most well-known progressive YouTubers. Recently got married to Crystal Ball, right? He runs in that whole circle of all those news commentators, right? Sam Cedar, Kyle Kalinske, Crystal Ball, all of them, right? All of them kind of know each other. Pascal Robert, Jason Miles, those are the two brothers from This Is Revolution. They all kind of know each other. The woke bros, right? That's Waz in them. All of them know each other. Right? Sank Uger from TYT, Anna Consparian, all of them. And so if Kyle covered it, you know the rest of the lefties kind of know about this too, right? Y'all are burning your own bridge, tearing down your own pedestal because you're that angry at black men. And you think the rest of the lefties actually agree with you. You think the rest of the lefties actually agree with you. You done bought into your own hype. Like I said, they only use you as a weapon against black men. They don't actually believe none of that stuff you saying. This lady went on CNN really thinking that she was going to garner some support for her concepts of why it's okay for Will Smith to run on stage at the Oscars and slap Chris Rock. Wow. And you're a senior, right? You understand what makes this so heinous. You're not just some run of the mill rando that they put a camera and a microphone in her face. You are one of the senior writers at the Roots. At the, excuse me, yeah, the Root, right? You're not just some random. You may act like some random, but you're not just some random. And the 18th letter says, and thank you for the super chat, 18th letter. He says, do you remember when Crystalline Kerazin made a video mocking Kevin Samuels' deletion and later deleted it? I didn't get to see it. I didn't get to see it, brother. I didn't get to see it. And let me leave your comment up for a little bit. I didn't get to see it. Right. Right. Exactly. And Namer says, nope, the lefties are just looking at black women and saying, that's all you queens. Right. And I think, you know what it is? They really are not paying attention to the environment. See, when you so hyper focus on how horrible black men are, you don't realize that the society's like, oh crap, we don't know what we're going to do with all our boys and our men. They're really dropping out of society and it's affecting our economy. If we don't have enough children, it's going to affect our economy. Who's going to consume? Who's going to pay social security for the elders? Right? Who's going to defend this country if something go down? And you're so hopped up on your war and your jihad against black men. You think the country's still where it was 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 years ago. You don't even realize what a conversation is right now. You're so busy trying to defecate on black. And I just want to make sure y'all know, if y'all see me close out in short notice, you know, life. Just know that life. So you're so hopped up on your rhetoric against black men, you're not even paying attention to the environment. And this is why y'all check my community tab. Look at all the stuff I share with y'all on my and that's not even like a quarter of all the stuff I watch and listen to. That's not even a quarter of it. But these people, all they care about is how horrible black men are, how black men are colorist and sexist and misogynist and want to be patriarchs but failed patriarchs. That's all they talk about and care about. Right? And AB says, the Bible says a foolish woman will tear down her own house. It's crazy to see Crystalline try to play damsel in distress, to see this Miss Candace lady try to play damsel in distress, and to see Meghan Markle try to play damsel in distress. So you got a princess, a senior writer, some random lady that got mad at the world because her black baby daddy didn't marry her, so she waged a jihad. She's on MTV waging a jihad, or VH1, whichever one. Now she on social media waging a jihad for the past decade plus. Right? She got the unmitigated gall to call Obsidian disgusting. What do you think you've been doing for the past decade online? You don't think that's disgusting? You don't think it's disgusting trying to wave white men in black men's faces for the past decade? You don't think pining for white men over the past decade is disgusting? While you live in a white supremacist anti-black society? You don't think after the Veganator came on and embarrassed your lame ass, you crying on camera is disgusting? You sending your daughter out the room because you didn't want to talk ill of God? That's the way you see the white man. You don't think that's disgusting? You sent your daughter out the room because you didn't want her to see you weeping because God turned you down. You don't think that's disgusting? You got the unmitigated gall The audacity to call Obsidian disgusting while you and Themis over there snickering about the insider article and black men not pulling their weight. You're friends and allies with Paris, and then you're not. You're friends and ally with Chrissy, and then you're not. You, Paris, Cynthia G, Chrissy, you don't think y'all are disgusting? Calling Obsidian disgusting. Lady, why? Because you have an air of superiority, right? I saw that hood coming out of you when you were talking to Obsidian. See, you couldn't even hold your anger. You couldn't even hold it. You want to say he's disgusting? Like I said, yo, these people think just because they have an air of superior, I'm better than that. I'm upper middle class. I'm married upper middle class. I had a white husband, right? I stayed away from you Negroes. I upgraded after my black baby daddy. They think they're really above it. Throwing around words like disgusting to Obsidian, like you're not disgusting. All of you. Paris thinks she better than that just because she doesn't use profanity. I'm above you Negroes. Boy, that classism mixed with misogyny, ooh, when it bites y'all in the rear end. When white society remind y'all they're just nothing but niggas to them. Oh, when see, you know what the Veganator did when he threw black women under the bus in front of Crystalline Kerazin? He pretty much said, y'all nothing but our bust downs. We see y'all coming. I don't know why Crystalline Kerazin think that white men don't see them. Especially now with the internet. Miss Crystalline Kerazin, let me tell you this years and years later. What is 6 years later? Let me tell 6, 7 years later, let me tell you what Veganator was trying to tell you. They all see you, Miss Kerazin. The white guys see you. They know you for who you are. As the dating divide book said, white people see the advances of people of color and they ignore them. Miss Kerazin, the Veganator, was one of the few white guys that actually say it out loud. The other white men see you too. They don't care enough to actually tell you, yeah, could you stop kissing my ass? Could you stop telling me how horrible black men are? They don't care enough to tell you, yeah, I done smashed 2, 3 black women before, and I still got a white wife. You got the unmitigated gall to talk about how disgusting Obsidian is. Lady, you got checked by a white dude that was half your fucking age. Maybe not really half her age, but still, you got checked by this white dude, and then he turned around and still pulled a black girl on your ass. You want to talk about disgusting? How often y'all gonna have the white guys tell you to stop kissing their ass and y'all still doing it? But oh, I'm sorry. Y'all doing it a little different now. Now y'all say vet all men. Nobody believes you. White guys don't believe you. Black men don't believe you. The Latinos, the Asians, nobody. I'm kid you not. If I could go find that, it was years and years and years ago. The Asian guys are online in a forum discussing what Issa Rae said about black women dating Asian guys and particularly Koreans. And the Asian men are saying, yeah, I'm not falling for it. Black women are only saying that because they mad at black men. And they said even worse. What I look like being on the bottom and being on the bottom with black women. Yes. And Crystalline Kerazin got the nerve to talk about who's disgusting. Man, if you don't go take your lame ass somewhere else. And stop trying to gaslight black men with white men and what white men have done. White men, clearly, white society is screaming at the top of their lungs that their sons are failing. Number one. Number two, even white men are telling y'all to come off of it. Even white men. If Kyle Kalinske is covering this story on CNN, translation, even white men are telling you, yes, we don't want to hear about how horrible black men are anymore. That's a progressive. If Kyle Kalinske is saying that, that lets you, y'all not paying attention. The tide is turned, ladies. I'm saying it. You can't say nobody ain't tell you. Mr. Z done told y'all the tide is turning. All that black men ain't ish talk in front of white folks. Black men are monsters in the black community targeting us. We feel so, oh my God, we're so scared of black men. All you upper middle class black women who've been talking that for past decades, and white people been entertaining you with that talk. They don't believe it, by the way. The tide is turning. They don't even want to hear it no more. I brought up Rollo Tomasi. Now I'm bringing up Kyle Kalinske. They don't want to hear it no more, ladies. So, dear black women, white men are telling you, first of all, they're not going to let you occupy damsel in distress role with white women. They ain't going to let you do it. So you could kick rocks on that. Right? That's number one. But number two, they're tired of hearing it. They're tired of hearing black men ain't ish. They're tired. They'll bring you in to say it occasionally when they want to use you against black men, and then after that, they done. Y'all remember Crystalline Kerazin literally? So I think it was 101 East covered some story about DV in Japan or South Korea or something like that, or like um um the East Asian women getting groped on trains. I think it was in Japan or something like the schism between Japanese men and Japanese women. It was either Japan or South Korea. I want to say it was Japan. And I remember watching Crystalline Kerazin literally come out her mouth. We need to do a story like this about black men going after black women. Where are they covering this? First of all, it's called 101 East. As in East. As in Asia. Which means East. Yeah, so there's that. Number one. Number two, if they did a real investigative story about the schism between black men and black women, do you understand how much they would unearth about black women in DV? And how women initiate DV? Crystalline Care, these people fashion themselves as intelligent, everyone. These are like college grads, everyone. These are adults. Crystalline Kerazin is a mother of 3 adult children, and yet she still talks like this. Right? And I am with says trying to finish Yanni's live response to your video. It's a hard to get past all. Oh, she did a live response to my video. Or are you talking about the one where I think she was responding to me, or are you talking about she actually did a live response to my video? Because nigga, right? And I am with says trying, and thank you for the super chat. He says trying to finish Yanni's live response to your video. It's a hard to get past all of the brothers who called in backdoor simping. They hate us plain and simple. Right? Yeah. So these people, these okay. And Namer says that's Japan and that's a show on Al Jazeera. Yes, yes. Right? And like I said, and then Meghan Markle, the story I haven't covered so much here. Okay, all right, let's talk about Meghan. Oh, Miss Meghan. Shout out to the brother Chris Rock again. She's a narc. And by the way, there's some people I gotta throw Meghan Markle in their face, including very close loved ones in my family. Very close loved ones in my family. I called it out from the jump. Chris Rock not the only one who peeped the game. I called it out from the jump who Meghan Markle was. Once that story leaked about how she had okay, thank you for the Cash App 18th letter, right? 18th. I almost doxed you for a second. I, I have to go check it, like, because I had to look down, so that's why I doxed the brother a little while ago, because it shows your actual name, and then I'm like, oh wait, I gotta look for their screen name. So thank you for that 18th letter. Don't worry, I ain't gonna dox nobody else. I learned my lesson, and shout out to that brother last time, right? So and and once again, thank you for that Cash App 18th letter. So going back to Meghan Markle, there's very close loved ones that I gotta throw this in their face. And Mr. Z gonna do it, right? In conversation, it's still in love. It's not, I don't hate, obviously, these are people that are family members and relatives and close friends. Because everybody was cop and please for Meghan and Harry back when I was like, nah, I don't trust that chick. Right? And shout out to Chris Rock for this. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was gonna say earlier. When I think a friend of hers blew her spot when a friend of Meghan Markle's was saying that she been drooling over the princes since she was a kid. She had their posters on her wall and everything. She been trying to marry one of them since she was a kid, right? And I didn't even know Meghan Markle over here making phone calls to senators and stuff behind the scenes, like she's somebody, right? And shout out to Chris Rock for calling her out for what she is. You are opportunist. You married Harry, cool, right? You got one of the princes. You got what you wanted, and now you think you're gonna parlay that into something bigger? Number one. Number two, you married. Chris Rock was so genius with that. You married one of the OG racist families, and then you act like you didn't know. You know what? This is your number one. This is your mother's fault. Number two, this is you playing victim. No, you knew who they were. We all got our suspicions about Princess Diana. We know what that family's about. Rest in hell, Prince Philip. Right? We all know what that family is about. You know what that family's about. We all know what they about. You know what they're about. You just thought you were going to be chosen. And you did get chosen by one of the sons. And you thought that was going to shield you from their racism? Ha! His aunt over here pulling up with Morris heads on her neck. And it wasn't to be an honor of her. It was as an insult to her. Right? So you should have knew from the jump what the family was on. You should have known from the jump what the family was on. Now they telling you to get out the house that the queen gave y'all. Come on, man. Oh yeah, exactly. And Namer says her father is a narcissist too. Yeah, when she asked her father about race when she was younger, and her father kind of played down race. So the mom and the dad both tried to play a game, and your daughter got all the way to Buckingham Palace. Your daughter got to Buckingham Palace and got punched in the face by old school blue blood royalty racists. Oh, a front of the world. Your daughter got punched in the face with racism in front of the world by the OG colonists. Y'all want to talk about Black Panther and colonizer? By the OG colonist. All that shielding her from her being black. Yeah, she white passing ish, kind of, sort of, not really. Your daughter got to Buckingham Palace. Y'all put on this whole fanfare with black preachers and all this. Stop. What black priest? Stop. Right? Oprah over there with her fan and all. Yawn. Your narcissistic daughter got punched in the face by the crown. Got G checked by the crown. And then once again, Thanos, who she got to come back to? Black people in America, the same Negro she was avoiding her whole life. Sorry, 2 lifetimes. Her mother and her been avoiding their whole lives. You got to come back to black people. And I didn't just say black women, even though one of those black people kind of parades as a black woman sometimes to make money. Shout out to Tyler Perry. You got to come back to black people. You got to come back to Tyler Perry and Oprah, the same type of niggas you've been running from your whole life and your mother's whole life. Yeah, Piers Morgan put her on blast because Piers Morgan was trying to smash. Yeah, he did, but it still came from a wrong place because he was dating her, he was trying to smash, and she went to go meet up with Harry and later on married Harry. Piers Morgan. That's why Piers Morgan ain't shit neither. I ain't giving him no pass, no slide. That's why what's his face from Top Gear punched him in the face back in the day. Right? Carlson punched him in the face back in the day. From Top Gear. Yeah, Buddy Roll from Top Gear got into a back and forth with Piers Morgan, went to go see him and punched Piers Morgan in the face. That was right before Piers Morgan came over here to CNN for a little while. Right? So y'all tried to shield y'all daughters from race. Yeah, she was white passing, so y'all thought she was gonna be safe, and she got all the way to Buckingham Palace and got punched in the face by racism. Jeremy Clarkson, yes, right. She got punched in the face by the OGs, by the colonizers, by the sun never sets on the UK. She got punched in the face by those people, by the people that colonized India, by the people that started slavery in America, by the people that went and slaughtered the Aboriginal people in Australia. She got punched in the face by those people, by the people that helped to overthrow Mossadegh in Iran for some oil, by the people that went to war with Argentina over the Falklands. She got punched in the face by those people. By the people that's the reason why I'm speaking English right now. She got punched in the face by those people. Huh. By the OG Game of Thrones people. She got punched in the face by Game of Thrones people. Right? That's who she got punched in the face by. Because y'all forgot to tell her, oh, by the way, honey, you're black, and that comes with certain consequences in the society. It's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being black inherently, but there is a racial hierarchy on this planet dictated by white folks that look like your dad. And I don't want that to mean that you don't inspire. That doesn't mean that you don't go out and do the best you can with your life and marry who you want to marry. It was going to be a white dude because the way y'all raised her. And be as kick ass as you possibly can. But there is a racial hierarchy on this planet. She got to find out the hard way in Buckingham Palace. And the fact that she a narcissist, she thought she was going to get over it because she'd been getting over being black her whole life. She had already married a white dude previously. Huh. Where's her black mom now? Where is her black mom now? So you raised a woman to be very successful, right? To be professional-ish, to play a role, to play her role. Okay, cool. and your daughter got up to Buckingham Palace with everything you taught her, and then what you didn't teach her bit her in the ass. Yikes. She got to Buckingham Palace because of what you taught her. And what you didn't teach her is why her and her husband are kind of not part of the royal family, right? So, once again, this is not a good look for black women right now. This is not. So, you got Jada smiling watching Chris Rock get slapped in the face on stage in front of the world. You got this Candace lady justifying Chris Rock getting slapped in the face. You got Meghan Markle copping pleas like she ain't realized that the royal family was racist as shit. Excuse my language, we're using profanity tonight. Mr. Z After Dark. So, what? You got Crystalline Kerazin calling Obsidian disgusting, thinking because she been sneak dissing the black manosphere and black men because what didn't transpire between her and her black baby daddy. She put on airs like she's so above it. You're not above it, you drunk auntie. Your project failed. Like I said, your project failed. Your divorce is testament to your project failing. And that, everyone, all you got to do is give it time sometimes, right? All you have to do is give it time sometimes. Huh. Your divorce is a testament to your project failing, ma'am. Right? You waged jihad against black men because you and your baby daddy's relationship didn't turn out the way you wanted it. You went and you found you a white husband that you didn't even like. Let's call a thing, Miss Crystalline Kerazin. I seen pictures of your husband. You ain't feeling that dude like that. You bit and grinned and bared it for as long as y'all could, and it didn't last. You had 3 kids from this dude. Let's call a thing a thing. You had 3 kids from this guy. Your marriage dissolved, and now this is you. Still online talking crap. Got the nerve to call Obsidian disgusting when all you've been doing for the past few decades is kissing white ass in front of everyone. Sneak dissing black men, thinking that we don't see it, thinking that the world doesn't see it. Even after the Veganator eviscerated you on your own channel for the world to see, you were cupping please. You were more mad at black men for not air quotes defending you than you were at the Veganator for eviscerating you on your own channel. You bought this man in to insult black men on your behalf. And he eviscerated you and essentially told you how easy it is for him, at least, to pull black women and how desperate y'all come off for the black women like you, of course. And then he went out and showed it. And you call Obsidian disgusting. Huh. You cried. Not no little weeping. You bawled. You cried after that on camera because your God turned his back on you. You cried like a baby, like you lost a loved one, because that's how you registered it. Because your God turned his back on you. And he did it publicly for the world to see, including in front of the women that you have been talking how great white men are. And you got the nerve to call Obsidian disgusting? You got the nerve to call Obsidian disgusting when you and Themis were reading that insider article, cop and please, skipping the part where it said the white guys ain't checking? What's more disgusting, what Obsidian does or what Miss Crystalline Kerazin does, which is send her subscribers out there to go into the meat grinder that is white racist society looking for a white husband? A white Superman. Huh. What's more disgusting? This 2+ decade long project Miss Crystalline Kerazin has been on? Because her and her daddy didn't work out? You don't think that's disgusting? Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And let's also make sure we don't let Miss Candace off the hooks. I was already talking about her. Look, I get Miss Candace. When you look at her, you already know what it is. And so Miss Candace, and for those of you that need to know who I'm referring to, it's the young lady from the Roots, senior writer, off of the Roots, the publication, um, online publication, and she did an interview with Don Lemon on CNN about Chris Rock's stand up. And as usual, it's woe is me coming from this type of black woman, right? These type of black women. It's the black men target us and they make us the butt of their jokes, especially in front of white folks, right? And Miss Candace thought that would garner her sympathy with all the white viewers, and they're not having it, as evidenced by the progressive Kyle Kalinske reviewing that interview and being like, yeah, no. And Chris Rock is a comedian. And Chris Rock goes after everyone. And he has. There is something to be said about Chris Rock's comedy and him doing a little too much in front of white folks. That's true. Yeah, there's something to be said about that. But the whole woe is me from black women, particularly, yeah, no. And this is evidence, once again, that Miss Candace and other black women of her ilk really aren't paying attention to the environment. They think they can still continue to do the woe is me, black woman, black men are attacking me in front of white folks, and they think it's the same thing as 20 years ago. You could pull that 20 years ago. You could pull that 10 years ago. You maybe even could have pulled it 5 years ago. You can't pull it in 2023 like that anymore. I would argue the last time y'all could have pulled that on great scale was after Kobe's death, right? Gayle King was about the last time y'all could pull it. I'm not saying y'all can't do it one or two more times on grand scale, but for the most part, that no, because too much is going on between men and women generally on the planet, specifically America, for black women to keep on doing this in front of white folks, right? And so on that note, you know, I'm about to come to a close, but I really had to get this out. Um, and I know I haven't been on for the past couple days. That's because I've been driving my loud ass sports car for the past couple days, and y'all wouldn't be able to hear me anyway, right? So and I just wanted to kind of give it a little rest. I don't know if I didn't want to kind of saturate and make it seem as if I always got something to say even when I don't have something to say. So kind of wanted to give people a little break from Mr. Z, right? Um, and shout out. Well, I should have gave this shout out earlier. Thank you to Dr. T Hassan Johnson for having me on his broadcast the other night, where we spoke about Dr. Richard Reeves from the Brookings Institute and his research and his interviews that he's been doing, speaking about of boys and men. Um, and yeah. And Dead Set said loud don't mean fast, slowpoke. I mean, it was fast for for a car 30 years ago. 30 years ago it was fast, right? Now it's quickish, right? 300 horsepower just ain't the same as it was 30 years ago, right? Literally you could buy a Camry V6 with 300 horsepower, right? Buy a Nissan Maxima with more than 300 horsepower, right? So I just really wanted to come to y'all with this. It listening to Crystalline speak to Obsidian and then start personalizing it because she had nothing for Obsidian if they really started talking about the back and forth and dynamics between black women and black women. So she had black men and black women, excuse me. So she had to go personal. She had to speak about, well, I beg you not to have my information out there and my kids and you my address so she had to go there with it. She not trying to talk about nothing macro because Obsidian would have eviscerated her. So she got to go personal with it. She had to. And she went personal because all Obsidian would have to do is, okay, we pour into black girls, so we don't pour into black girls, or we say we pour into black boys. Obsidian would, if he would have just asked that, it would have been done. That's it, game over, right? And I don't even talk about you. You sneak diss black men all the time. You openly diss black men, but you definitely sneak diss black men all the time, right? So I had to cover that. And then I had to cover this other story with this Candace lady. Like, I continue to say this. These people are adults and they're educated, indoctrinated, educated, right? These people are adults. This is an adult woman, senior writer at the root, justifying in front of white folks or attempting to justify in front of white folks why it was okay what Will Smith did at the Grammys. I said at the Grammys, sorry, at the Oscars, right? And Dead said, I expect Z to have mastered heel toe breaking at this point. That's a whole different conversation, right? For those of you that don't know, heel and toe is like when you try to rev match the car for braking, right? It keeps you from blowing your engine, and it's the quickest way to kind of take corners, right? On modern manual vehicles, um, it would be the rev match feature, right? Which kind of it's it's a cheat. It's a really good cheat. The beauty of modern technology, but yeah, it does it for you, right? Rev matching does the heel towing for you for manual cars. But yeah, so you know, I had to cover that story, and then the Meghan Markle thing. Come on, lady, stop it. Like Chris Rock said, you won the light skin lottery, right? And then you got all the way to Buckingham Palace. Now you acting like, oh, you cop and please, like, oh, I didn't know they were racist. What? Slaughter the Aboriginal people. Let me before we even get to slaughtering the Aboriginal people, sent prisoners halfway around the world to another land and let them do to the Aboriginals what they wanted to do, then slaughtered the Aboriginals. Came to America and waged war on the indigenous folks. Was part of one of the not even part of the head honchos of slavery in colonizing Africa. Literally, their moniker is "the sun never sets on the British Empire." That's their moniker. And you ain't realized that they were racist. They took over the whole goddamn subcontinent of India. They waged war with China and was selling opium to the Chinese people. They waged war with them twice over the shit, more than twice over the shit. They were selling opium. They took Hong Kong from China and Macau. Are you serious? And because they don't want to realize that their empire is not what it used to be, they went to war with Argentina over the Falkland Islands. Right? And these are the people you thought weren't racist? What made you think they weren't racist? No, you knew they were racist. You just thought you were going to be the exception to the rule because you damn near white. And because of the way you speak and your upbringing. You thought you were safe. You thought you were the safe Negro, and you got to Buckingham Palace and they called you a nigger. Let me say that again in case y'all missed it. You thought you were the safe Negro, and you got to Buckingham Palace, and even if they didn't call you the N-word to your face, their actions called you the N-word. They called you nigger to your face with their actions. Right? And on that note, y'all like, share, subscribe. And on that note, and that's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate, you know. But at least she got her prince. At least she got her a royal. Cool, right? Huh. We already know the rumors about Diana, and you thought you was gonna go into that royal family and start flipping over tables. You lucky you got out the way you got out. I'm just saying. If I need to say it more blatantly, you lucky you got out the way you got out, right? So on that note, yeah. And I'm glad I definitely covered the Meghan Markle story and the CNN interviewing this Miss Candace. Like I said, if Kyle Kalinske ain't even going, you done messed up. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Ben Shapiro covered some of the stand up also, so that means he watched it. He not going, so you literally have mortal enemies between Kyle Kalinske and Ben Shapiro, kind of agreeing that yeah, black women might be doing too much with this. You got the progressive white guys being like, yeah, I can't ride with y'all on this one. I get it, black women. I get it. I get it. White society been pretending like they actually believe your BS for the longest, and you think they really do, right? They've been pretending like they really think you damsel in distress in relationship to black men, and you think they really believe it, right? To the point where you're literally attempting to justify Will Smith slapping Chris Rock in front of the world. And you're a degreed woman, you're a successful woman, you're senior writer at the root. All right. Once again, not paying attention to how the tide is turning. That's going to have dire consequences, not just on her, Miss Candace, but on other black women, even black women that are riding with black men. The Miss Candace of the world allowed to talk and talk like this in public in front of white folks. You think Chris Rock is doing damage. What do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing? We gotta start asking these people this. Okay, Chris Rock is doing damage. And what do you think you're doing with what you just did? On CNN, trying to justify a physical assault on camera for millions and billions to watch. And you as a black woman are attempting to let me end out on this. You as a black woman are the one who's speaking about the separation of black men and black women. You're the one who's letting the world know they could play you against black men. Huh. Alrighty. You're the one. And on that note, all right, you guys, y'all have a great rest of y'all night. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Oh, well, like, share, subscribe. Um, and yeah. Hey, y'all, look. This is our educated class of black people, right? Crystalline Kerazin, I don't know if she graduated college, but college degree, right? Meghan Markle, college degree. The young lady, Miss Candace, most likely, not even most likely, college degree, probably even advanced degree, right? So, yeah. Anyway, on that note, let's end it out. Um, love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Manosphere content. Excuse me, other Black Manosphere content, and then other non-Manosphere content. So y'all don't sound like these people, particularly the Miss Candace person and Crystalline Kerazin. Just I can't even say woefully ignorant. That's not good enough, right? So agenda driven. They're just it's so myopic. They're so myopic. It's actually hurting them. It actually hurts black women, right? And I get it. Don't interrupt the fool when they're making a mistake, right? Or don't interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. I get it. I get it. I understand, brothers. All the brothers listening into the Black Manosphere, I get it. But this is bad. And to be frank, I could be screaming from the mountaintops. This stuff. They have an issue with black men so much that, to be frank, they ain't gonna stop. They'll listen to Mr. Z saying this and still go on and get their head top knocked off by the same people they're attempting to appeal to. Oh well. Anyway, on that note, Mr. Z out. Y'all have a great rest of y'all night. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Go check out other Black Manosphere content. Go check out other non-Manosphere content. All right, everyone. Mr. Z out. Oh, I'll pause right there. That part.